So we're gonna do an item tier list. I'm gonna go over mainly, I think I'm just gonna cover like not tier 1 type items, if that makes sense. All the, you know, the full built items, tier 3s, relics, all that stuff. And then we'll just go from there and see how it is. So S tier are gonna be your best items in the game. In this case, it's going to be your items that are like super overtuned and probably going to get nerfed this week. So this item tier list could change if they do decide to do nerfs. It might not. It's also just going to be like the best items. So it's not like the ban items or the nerf items. It's just, actually, you know what? Let's add a tier. I will have a nerf tier. So we have a nerf tier. We have a, you know, top tier, play every game type. I will do relics. I might do them last. We'll see. I don't know. Charm is solid, but it's not as good as it was on the PTS. It used to be super overtuned in early Smite 2. It's now kind of like okay, but not prioritized. So I'm going to throw it in like a C tier, where S tier are going to be top build on almost every build, right? Like for whatever role. A tier are going to be always very, very good, but it depends on the god, depends on the role, all that stuff. B tier, consistent items that might be swapped out. C tier, hyper situational. D tier, don't build unless it's that specific comp you need to build against. F tier, trash, never build, right? Avatars is a really good item. It's really only built on your hyper carry junglers, and it's built last, but it is a very, very good item. It's just going to be kind of rare. I'm surprised we haven't seen more Avenging Blade, but I think I know why. So Avenging Blade, if you don't know, it's kind of like Stone Cutting Sword, except for you don't steal the protections. It's a kind of frostbound because it's only a little slow, and it's a kind of stone cutting because it doesn't steal the protection. It's like half of each, and I think that's why it's not being picked up or built very much. I'd probably put it in C tier, where certain gods like maybe CERN with aspect might want to build it to just double up on slows, but in reality, it's not a top item, and it's not something you're gonna prio build ever. Berserkers is very, very, very good if you're an auto attack god, because hybrid is insane right now. It's super meta right now. I will say I'm gonna do actives as well. I think for ranked, this is a ranked list. I think for ranked, Aegis needs to be nerfed. I think the fact that Aegis is like I think it's 2.5 minute cooldown, and beads are or blink is a 4 minute cooldown is insane. I think it's almost like a no-brainer. If you're playing to win a game, you're probably going Aegis all the fucking time in a ranked game. Obviously in comp, it's gonna be a little different, so you can't compare it to that. And I just think it needs to be it needs to be way closer balance between the actives at this rate. Blink, I think, is good. I think it's obviously based on the god you're building. It allows you to play aggressive or defensive. It is countered by cripple. There are a lot of cripples in the game right now, so it can be kind of risky. I think it's a higher skill active, which is why I don't understand why it's on such a long cooldown compared to the other ones. But it's not something you're going to build on every single god all the time, where something like Aegis, if you're a carry, you might as well go it because it's up 24-7. Bluestone is very, very good active. I mean, we know it is. It's being used in solo a lot because of the clear. It's good late game. No downside to it. Bracer. I'm putting Bracer in D tier. I think Bracer is only built by Zeus. What happened, Bob? Oh, you lost $500. GG. Bracer is really only built by Zeus in that one build. So it's not something you're going to be looking at building. It's going to be very, 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 very situational because it's one god in one situation. Book of Thoth, underperforming right now. I would put it in B tier because I don't think it's bad, but you're not building it because pen is so valuable. Where if they change up pen or change up the pen items, you might see, or they buff Thoth to have actual power on it, like a good amount of power, you might see it built. I would say it needs to be buffed, but everything else needs to be tweaked. You're not trolling if you build it though. Especially like Kukulkan has to build it because it scales with this passive. Braggies. I thought Braggies would be picked up at this lane a lot. It seems like it feels great in ranked. Not built once in competitive play. So I'm going to put it in B tier. I realize this is a ranked tier list. I think ranked players might not know as much as the competitive players. Yeah, Book got slammed. Like you said, it was being stacked with Transcendence. So they were double stacking and it made it really good. So they killed Thoth's passive, or power, sorry. Divine or Brawlers. Brawlers is insanely good. They're healing in every game. It is a lot of power. I realize people are like, it's bad. It's got pen and high strength on it. And it's anti-heal. And because there's healing in every game, it is a very top tier must build type of item. Every game is going to have healing in it. Every single fucking game. Breastplate of Valor, I'd put more in C tier. I think there's just better tank items. It's solid for what it does, but it's fairly expensive. It doesn't have crazy stats. It doesn't do a whole lot for the team or even for you in terms of like damage for a hybrid build. And tanks are only going to build it as a luxury item. So I'm going to put it down here. Where's the full Bumbas? Bumbas is insane. I wouldn't nerf it though. It's troll. It's S tier. It's the top jungle starter. You're going to go on every single jungler pretty much ever. And then we do need to talk about one thing though, because I kind of want to say nerf them. Which one's the fucking, is it Spear? Spear. So in reality, both of these need to be nerfed, but not in the way you're thinking. Right now, they are minus 25% damage to lane minions. That needs to be minus 50% or higher. There's no world where anyone but the jungler should want to build these items. And I hate it. And I'm afraid that they're going to start nerfing stats on it and ruining it for junglers. You need to make it so this is a terrible item to build in lane. It should be good for junglers. It should not be built by anybody else. No one else should be like, yo, I want to clear as fast as the jungler. No, you should be fucked in lane if you're going to go this. Absolutely. They shouldn't hurt it at all for junglers. They should kill it for laning. You can make it higher. You can make it fucking sick. Whatever you got to do. Test it. 50, 60, 70%. I don't give a fuck. There's no world this item should be built as an ADC. They gotta fix this shit. Because the last time that these items were so good they were being built by other roles, they killed the item in the jungle. And I am honestly worried that's what they're going to do. I hope they don't. Bloodbound book is trash. Lifesteal for mages. Like general just lifesteal is ass for mages. I'm gonna put it in D tier because maybe there's a situation you're like, yo, I want the shield. Bloodforge. I think Bloodforge is just solid, not great. It's not even a luxury item. It's almost like a situational, I want a shield but still have some damage type of item. Very rare you're gonna build this item, but I wouldn't say you're trolling for building it. Where we at? Chronos. Am I going D tier with Chronos pendant? I think I am. So Intel items have like 90 cooldown items. Okay, Intel builders have 90 cooldown items. Chronos pendant realistically technically has the most cooldown, but it has no fucking power attached to it, no intel attached to it. It's a low int item. It's not worth building. There's just way better items that have cooldown on top of items that are pen when pen is more important. So we're not building Chronos pendant in my world right now. It's just not worth building. Dagger Frenzy, crazy situational item. I built it on my Athena crit build. I don't really build it on anyone else. I haven't seen any hunters building it yet. I could see it built and not be super troll, but it's 5 autos and not 5 seconds of autos. So that kind of takes it away from gods that actually have a lot of attack speed. So you might be able to weave this into gods that aren't building attack speed but want to auto attack. That currently doesn't exist outside of Athena, so I'm putting it at C. Where we at? Death metal. I think death metal's nuts. I think this item slept on in ranked. I'm gonna put it S tier. I think the pro players realized how good it was, or not realized, they started using it and showed how good it was. It's an AoE team buff for more intellect, more strength, and more attack speed. It has like a 90-second cooldown, I think, on it. It's also 40 of each stat, or 40 strength and 45 int and crit. You can't go bad with the item. Like, even if you don't use the int on the item, it's such a good team item to have in any team game for objective burning, for team fights, for your mage, if you're a hunter, for your mage when you fighting in the backline. It's an insanely good item. I'm putting it in S tier. I've always said it was really good. I was surprised nobody built it. And then, of course, finals, everyone fucking built it. Deathbreaker, good item. Probably shouldn't nerf it. Probably shouldn't automatically build it every game. If you're going crit hunter, you're building it. If you're going anything else, you're not building it. But it is a very core item for crit hunters. Same with Demon Blade. Demon Blade a little better because you could build it and not go into Deathbringer, and you're not trolling if you end up needing to go like a tank item or something in the end. Demonic Grip is trash. First of all, Xe and Demonic do not stack, so you can't build both of them. If you're going an auto attack build right now, you almost guaranteed don't build intellect as a core stat because its scaling is so fucking low in its current state. It's a trash item. You probably need to double the int on it to make it something that people want to build on anybody, at least until they add in the right gods that can expose it or use it correctly. Devos, once again, lifesteal in this game is ass. I think Devos is ass. I wouldn't say it's like don't ever build it ever, whatever, but like if you're building it, you're not min-maxing. I wouldn't even say it's situational. I'd say it's lack of knowledge. I don't think you're trolling when you build it, but the lifesteal you're getting from it, if you ever build it on a hunter, go like build it and fully stack it and see how much you're lifestealing for, because it's like 5 every auto. It's terrible. Lifesteal is just terrible. Divine Ruin, another top tier anti-heal item because anti-heal is so valuable. Stats on it, I don't want to build it. Oh, it's not great. Who cares? The passive on it is insanely good as healing in every game. You need to build it. Dominance is trash. So, hold on. Can I put it back? I can. Okay, so can I move it over here? I can. Right? No, I can't. Fuck. So you guys can read it. Your basic attacks deal bonus damage as if your target had 20% less protections. So this does not say your basic attacks gain 20% pen. This says you deal bonus damage as if they were 20% pen. It is not the same as penetration. It is not the same as Smite 1. It was bugged when it first came out, and then they fixed it, and it just doesn't do anything yet. I am certain this item is going to get a buff. Would blow my mind if it doesn't get a buff. So it is going to go in F tier. Doom Orb, very, very good every single time. It's pen, it's high int, can't go wrong with it. Dreamer's Idol. Dreamer's Idol is just not worth building as a mage right now because the int is not that high. Most mages that are good are spammy mages. They're not playing around one ability burst. They're playing around using their abilities 9-10 times in a team fight. So they want max out on cooldown, max out on static int, meaning int they're going to have during the whole fight, and they want more pen. So they're not going to drop a pen slot to build this item, which is very, very expensive. So we're putting it down in D tier. You could play C tier, and you build it. I don't think you're trolling. I just don't think any mages right now can really use it. Death Braze, I think is good. It's just another starter that's solid. Doesn't need to be nerfed. I mean, it could be S tier, but it's mainly for solos like Bologna. I kind of want to throw some of these off the board to make some fucking room here. Archmages, same. It's very good, consistent mid lane starter. Arrow's Bow. All right, I have a problem with Arrow's Bow. I'm putting it in D tier. My Arrow's Bow, if you don't know what it is, it's health, attack speed, and you can put a buff on a teammate that heals them whenever you auto. Now, the reason this item is fucking ass, it's a 10-second cooldown. It lasts for 10 seconds, and you have to keep reapplying it to whoever you want to get it. They need to change this item, especially for controller players, because there's no controller player that's auto-attacking and fighting a team fight and able to turn around, mark their fucking carry behind them, turn forward, and keep playing the game. It needs to be a permanent buff, and it has to be within a range. Make it so, hey, I put my Arrow's Bow on this person. It'll last until I take it off, but they have to be within 30 in-game meters or 20 or whatever the fuck they want it to be. It's way too difficult for people to keep it up on who they want all the time and keep track of it. I like the item, but I think that's the one issue, and that's why it's D tier. If they change it, I'd probably make it A tier, especially if people can make Cupid support work. Call of the Thieves. It's just not being built right now. I don't think it's actually bad. I just think other stats are better. Gem of Focus is an amazing int item. It gives you a ton of int, it gives you a ton of cooldown, and it gives you mobility, which allows you to be safe while also hitting abilities easier. Gem of ISO, hyper situational. You're only building that on a few gods, and probably no mages. Probably, you're talking about like your supports in weird roles, like your Hecate support, stuff like that, or who you're going to see build that. So very, very, very situational. Genji's, I think, is solid. Just needs to be, you need to want more more magic defense. Pridwin, I like Pridwin a lot. I think it's kind of slept on. It's double defense, cooldown, and a damage burst. So when you pair it with the right dive gods, you can do a lot of extra damage if you're looking for burst. I just think right now, a lot of people aren't playing around a burst meta, even though it works great in ranked. Thieves is Beatty, go Ruinazonk, and get a slow. Yeah, I agree with that. But I mean, it's not a bad item. I think if the cost changed or the stack, it is. What are the stacks on it? I don't even remember what the stacks are on it anymore. I think if they change that, it just becomes a solid item all the time. All right. Eye of the Storm. I don't like this item. I think it's bad even when you're like, it could work on this god. Like Cabrakan with it is hilarious. It probably would be hilarious, but there's a million other items that are infinitely better than this item. It's not a great hybrid item. It's not a great defense item. The passive is cool, but it's like you're dying for it. It's just not worth. Golden Blade. I think the land kind of proved Golden Blade is just not worth building right now. Not a terrible item. There's just better. People are going Kins into their hybrid builds. Glad Shield is top tier. Very, very good solo aim item. Does a ton of extra damage. Insane stats. Cooldown. Prots. Good passive. At no point is this item bad right now. It's like literally top pick. Hasten. I think Hasten is not good. I don't think it's good at all. It's 70% on your movement now rather than 100% on your autos. So and it takes 3 autos to stack it up. I just think it's not necessary. There's way better items that are you're gonna build over hasten. It's kind of like a noob item where if you're lower rated, you might build it just to make the game easier for yourself. But in reality, if you're in with good players or people of your skill level, if they have other items, they'll just kill faster than you and be better than you. So I'd watch out for that. Heartseeker is insane right now. It'll probably get nerfed again. If you play against Heartseeker or you play with it and you check your damage late game, it's doing more than most abilities, which is crazy. Helm of Darkness, I know there were some plays made at Worlds, but I really don't like this item. I feel like it's a bait more than anything. I'll say situational. I don't think you're trolling if you build it. You're solo lane, you know, looking for some hybrid stats and you engage. It's fine. Very, very situational though. Helm of Radiance didn't get built once from what I saw. I'm just gonna put it in D tier. They kind of showed us at the LAN that pen hybrid dumpsters just flat stats hybrid, which is kind of crazy to me. But it is what it is. Heroism I think needs a nerf. I'm dead serious on this too. I hate the idea that by at least maybe not the upgraded heroism. The lower tier heroism is way too strong. The shield is like it's just crazy to me that you can just exist and shield. Hydelemian is bad. Nobody's building it. It's just not worth. You're not reflecting enough to make a difference by losing out on other stats. Let me do this on items. I need to throw items into another tier so I can actually get to the items I want to move around. Oh, I forgot Hexstone. Hexstone is cracked, bro. I think Hexstone is insanely valuable in ranked. Hexstone is the item that turns you into a boar. It makes you CC immune. I believe you take less damage. If you hit somebody, you knock them up and you do a little bit of damage. It has 400 health and 10% cooldown. If you are a god that dies because of Loki ult, because of Hades ult, because of, I don't know, anything where you're just getting locked down, this item counters that. It acts as a beads, but a beads that takes you to safety. It's fucking cracked and it has really good stats. In Smite 2, you can afford dropping a damage item if you're a damage character and you can pick this up to live all day. I don't think a lot of people realize what it does. It needs to be built more. If you're dying and being targeted, you're going to need to build that item. Is this base Destal? It is. Eye of Providence. Dude, on early PTS, I really thought this item would be important. But now that there's 8 million fucking wards in the game, this item is dog ass. Do not build it. Please. For the love of God. You have 9,000 fucking wards in the game right now. There's no reason to build it. They take the wards away. Maybe we're talking, talk about another game. Take all these away. We don't need a nerf health chalice or any of the potions or even talk about them. They're solid. They're consistent. Hunter's Cowl, very underbuilt right now. I don't even know. I feel like we're gonna build Death's Toll if we nerf the spear. And then this item's gonna need to be buffed. I'm gonna put it in B tier because I feel like we just don't see it enough to know. Hasar's wings are fucking stupid. They're expensive, but they're not expensive enough. This item should be 3,500 gold. It's the permanent slow immunity item. It has here, let me put it back so you guys can see. It is insanely good stats. 40 physical prots, 30 magical prots, 400 HP, and you are immune to slows. That item should be 3,500 gold. Minimum. Maybe 37. If there is a slow, if you're being fucked by any slows in the game, it is a no-brainer to build this. To wait an extra 400 gold to have immunity the whole game. So we're going to put it in S. I don't want it nerfed. I want it to cost more. I'm going to put it in S tier. Hydra's very, very good item. It's kind of a bait on some gods, though. It's a good assassin item, and it's built on Ul, but I think it should be built later on Ul. But it is a very, very good item because they added cooldown to it. Jade Scepter is a displacement item. Was built early a lot. It's not built now. I think if you're just trying to peel for your boys and you're an Aphrodite or you are a Kate support or you're your Mojo support, you might build this if it can keep them off of your carries, but that's going to be very rare. Jotun's great item. I don't think it has a downside. It's cheap. It's good stats. It was built every game by the assassins, basically all over the map at the LAN. I do think that it's not something you have to build, but if you build it, it's like a no-brainer to build it. Like you don't have to think about it. It's just auto build. It's good stats. Cheap. Good to go. We can move all these. Boom, boom, boom. I'm not sold on this fucking Lernium bow, by the way. Lernium bow is one of the newer items. Strength, attack speed, a lot of attack speed. And then you fire an arrow. The arrow is anti-heal. Is it anti-shield too? No, it's not. It's just anti-heal. I thought it was anti-shield as well. That's kind of weird. Stats are great. The arrow shot's just an extra, auto attack, weaving it in. I don't think it's bad. I think we saw Cyclone build it first as an ADC, and I think he was building it on Jingwei. I didn't see him build it on anyone else. And I'm assuming, yeah, it helps with clear early if you're building it early, but I know Cyclone's building it last on his crit Jingwei builds. And I think it's just an extra auto to throw in there to get insta burst. I'm sure if he built it early, it was for clear. I'm sure it's for anti-heal as well. And then I'm sure if you build it late, it's for instant burst damage, pumping out. I think it's a fine item, but it's really only built on Jingwei right now. As we add more gods, that might change, but I can't put it lower because I don't think you're bad for building it. I think if you're playing a no clear god, it could become a meta build, and it wouldn't surprise me. Leviathan's Hide, situational. If you really have that many carries and you're trying to frontline and you think it'll help you, that's where you'll go it. Lifebender, I like Lifebender. They were building it on Morgan support, and it was going fucking crazy. I don't like it on Aphrodite. I think they'll probably find more uses for it as we play more because it's very short cooldown and very consistent damage and healing. The earlier in the game you get it, the better, in my opinion. I think it's a fine item. I don't think you're trolling for building it. Move this bitch. There's so many items. You just don't need to be here. I don't think we're in a meta where we're building Musashi's dual swords. This is strength, crits, and when you crit, you get movement speed. There aren't gods that need it right now. I'm thinking maybe with a crit CERN build with the aspect where you're melee, kind of like you're playing like Mercury. You might be able to weave this in there, but it's just not a great item right now. Tekko Musashi's. I've thought about that combo. Maybe if the right gods come. Like Mercury would go crazy with this item and a Tekko Kage, but he's not in the game. Mystical Mail is not being built at all. It doesn't do anything for you right now. Once again, I don't think you're trolling for building it, but I don't think you're trying to win if you're building it. This is the craziest item in the game to me. If you're beast mode positioning, never die mage, this item is the best item in the game. If you're not that person, if you're not like Paul or one of these pro players, this item is just so risky. It stacks up 3 times. Each stack gives you 50 int. Each stack also takes away 10 of your protections, each protections. So at full stacks, this item is 200 intelligence, 10% pen, minus 30 physical prots, minus 30 magical prots. Meaning you're going to take true damage if you're getting hit by fucking assassins or any carries. Necro Boar, first 2 items. Hey, you would be making up for that second slot not having an int. I like the item. It's the greediest fucking item in the game. I'm going to put it in A because of the downside to it, and it's going to get you killed. I would put it in S for those beast mode players. Oathsworn, I'm glad we finally started it being built. I've thought this item was good since early beta. Just statistically, I'm like, this item, there's no way a flat pen item isn't good when it has the stats. Obviously, it gained more strength, I believe, in the last patch, or one of the last patches, which made it really good. But we saw it built at the land. It cooks, especially on gods like Thanatos with flat pen. You're just double stacking it. Obshard, top tier item, most built. Oboe, fine item, but you're building it late, and you might want something else like pen. Pendulum, I think Pendulum is being slept on right now. You can go it over Jotuns. It's more expensive, so you're gonna want to build it when you have a lead. You need to be using it right. It's really good on gods that have like that one ability that slams, like Thanatos 1 or like Hercules 1, 2. Like it's a very, very good item to use after you throw out your kit, and then you're like, fuck, what do I do? Onis is fine. It's a good tank item. Not core on anybody. Pendulum, is this upgraded Pendulum? Yes, it is. Pendulum, I feel like, is a little lower tier on the actives. We're seeing way more, I can't think of the name, bro. Gem, right? What is the gem? Something gem, something, whatever the fuck it's called. The other mage starter is being built way more than this. Conduit gem, there we go, thank you. Shell is a solid active, but you're really building it. I'm gonna put this in situational. You're building it against Odin, Yamoja, Ymir. Pharaohs. I also was surprised by this not being built more. I'm gonna put it B tier because it's countered by Hussars. Everyone's not building Hussars. The thing that here, let me look. So it's 40 of each prot and attack speed. So in your hybrid kind of like solo lane auto attackers, I think it's a good item. The proc or the active on it is a 20% slow, 20% reduced attack speed. It'd be very good at running at carries. Now, I haven't played Stampede, right? I don't think Stampede we've come across it yet. I wanna look at Stampede and talk about something. Boop, 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 boop. There's Stampede. I think if they change the way Stampede works, we see Pharaohs come back. So Stampede is you and your teammates gain slow immunity, 20% attack speed boost, and 60% movement speed that decays to 20% over 6 seconds. 6 seconds. 1 minute cooldown. This item should have a 2-minute cooldown, first of all. But if there was no slow immunity attached to it, you would then pop the Pharaoh's Curse as soon as they stampeded to counter it. My big ass head is in the way. I'm reading it to you, you baby back dumb bitch. Oh, it's 90 seconds? Okay. It should still be longer. This should be a 2-minute cooldown. I mean, everyone built it at the LAN. The junglers were building it, the solos were building it, the supports were building it. There was like 2 to 3 on each team every game. It's extremely overstated. And I think that is why we don't see Pharaohs. So I'm going to put Pharaohs in B because we know Stampede's getting nerfed. It was built too much. Phoenix Feather is a crazy item. I'm not going to put it in A tier, but it's a crazy item. It's magic protections, health, and a proc that fucking AoE circles a percentage of your health, 10% of your health as damage to everybody. So it's just like extra burst. Like I said, I feel like the burst meta needs to be respected and ranked because people die instantly. They're just not good enough to live. Bali, solid item, but it's only picked up on a handful of gods. I built it on Aladdin. You'd build it on Kukulkan. You'd build it on the Morgan mid. As more gods are put in the game, we might see that change. But it's a good item, just not built by everybody. Prophetic, I feel like is in a solid item, but because it requires stacks, you're going to want it early, but you're going to want other items early, so you're not building this in 99% of situations. So I'm going to put it in D tier. I'll put it in C. I don't think it's actually a terrible item. Beads, too low of a cooldown. Needs to be nerfed. Where did it go? Oh, I lost it. Beads should be nerfed. They should every active should have the same cooldown. Prophetic, 40 stacks, yes. And because that makes you have to build it early. And you don't want to go it early. If there's a way to build it like mid-late, maybe we're talking about it. Over Thieves, I feel like you're just not building either of them. Either way. Kins, top tier item. Probably the best auto attack item in the game. You're building it on warriors that auto attack, junglers that auto attack, and ADCs that auto attack. Rod of Asclepius, it is situational. You're probably going to only build it on Afro. It removes anti-heal for 3 seconds, so you can heal your teammates. I don't know if it's enough healing on Afro to really warrant building this, but it gives you the opportunity late game to actually heal a teammate. So I like the item. Situational to Afro, more mid-late game. Rod, very, very good item. High int and pen. Runus, great item. Aura anti-heal with double prots. You need to build it. Somebody has to have it in every game. Scepter of Domination. I love this fucking item because it's a cool active item. If you saw LAN, Mike PBM built it as a fucking support. He put it on the fire. Anything in the scepter shield circle shit can't take damage. So he threw it on the fire while the other team was doing it. They couldn't kill it. His teammate got in and stole it. As soon as the wall came off, whatever, the circle came down, the dome. I love these kind of active items. It probably needs a slight buff, so people want to build it more. But I love the idea of these active items. I just think it's so sick. Gargoyle, half the nerf. This item and Stampede have to die. If you don't know what Screeching Gargoyle does, 60 magic protections, 20 cooldown, and then an active. And guess what the active does? The active does Nemalt. The active, first of all, this item is a cone, so anyone in the cone is getting silenced. They're also losing 20% of their protections. It should not have the pen on it, period. And then it probably needs to lose 10 cooldown. It's built in every game on everybody right now. It's fucking stupid. So is that the wrong selflessness? Or no, that's starter selflessness. So we don't need to worry about this. Serrated, I think, is a great item. It's a lot of power. You don't have to stack it up. Phoenix Shield is OP as fuck for any sustained spamming ability gods. So like Raw is cooking with that item right now. It's not bad on gods like Hercules. Achilles is probably going to build the fuck out of that item every game when he's put in the game. So have fun with that. Shield Splitter is situational. It's an anti-shield item. I thought it was going to be better than it was, but it doesn't have pen. So it's not prioritized. And there aren't a lot of shields in the game that matter. Shifter Shield is insanely good. It gives you each damage or each prot as a passive, and then it has a lot of defense. It's a good hybrid item. It is great, actually. Shoguns, I'm surprised Shoguns isn't built more. I actually thought I think it's because Gargoyles is so good. We see Gargoyles have to be built, so there's no room for Shoguns in the auto attack builds for warriors. Once Shoguns is slaughtered, I believe we might see Shoguns come back into those builds. Shoguns low prots too. Is it that low? Oh, fuck, it is. That's insane. I thought it was 50. Yeah, okay, it needs a buff. I lied. I'm going to put it in C tier. Not even C tier. I'm going to put it in D tier. I thought I had more prots. Like, Gargoyle is 60 prots. It's crazy. I have to acknowledge this. My YouTube chatter, his name is Chippa the Rippa, ZZ, says, what games are Weak Dick playing right now? Is YouTube the place For the most unintelligent internet people. Is there another stream? Like, there's no way Kick is even worse than this. Legitimately, what the fuck what is wrong with you? You either typed that thing and you were funny, or you're that big of a moron. I'd rather, like, bro, there's no way Mixer was worse than this. I don't know. All right, Soul Gem, best mid lane starter item in the game, meaning first item. It's shits on Thoth. It has 75 int. It has cooldown. It has a crazy good proc. I think, is that mana on it too, I think? Just a great first item that pretty much every mage is building right now. We didn't see any Soul Reaver, I think, at LAN, or maybe it was built like one person that wasn't a mid laner. I don't think Soul Reaver is bad. I just think other items and pen is overshadowing it. So we're putting a B tier. Spear of Deso, the biggest bait item I see every shitter in ranked build. It is 90 int, it is 5% pen, and then it is the Jotun's passive, where if you get a kill, your shit is reset. It's expensive. It's not even that expensive. There's nowhere in your build that this fits that it makes sense. The passives on these items are bait passives. You need to be good enough to get the first kill in the first place. You want to make sure your items allow you to kill that first person. I don't think you should be building Spear. I really don't. I just don't think it's worth. Maybe if they add more into it, so it just is more powerful than everything, then you'll go it. In its current state, I don't think there's any reason to build it over Doom Orb, over Anti-Heal, over Ob Shard, over Totem of Death. I feel like there's something else I'm missing, but it's just no point. Jotuns plus Desolation. Yeah, then you have to get the first kill, and great, I might be able to snowball through the team fight. Focus on the first kill. Spectral, I like Spectral. I think you're mainly only building it if crit is a big issue to take away, you know, the stats of one of the crit items. It's anti-attack speed, anti-crit, meaning you basically remove attack speed and crit from people around you. You'd think it would counter hunters a lot. It really doesn't. It's almost not like you have to build. It's just a solid item to build in those scenarios. And then the only people building are supports, and they really can't afford it because they're underfarmed. To get the full build, it's a fine item. Sphere. We didn't see this built once at all, I don't think. It's 3250 gold, it's 70 int, it's 100 magical protections. I think Mordred Jungle or Mordred Solo, who's ahead, can build this item. So I'm going to put it as situational. The stats are crazy to me. I think Mordred with it, like 5th, 6th item, is just going to go nuts and be unkillable. All right, Spirit Robe. This is an item I like. So I'll leave it here. Spirit Robe is 30 of each prot. When you're hit by CC, you gain 40 of each prot. This is something you build on a late game front line, like a support where you don't want to die. Like a Sobek, a Ymir. You're building this like 4th, 5th, 6th item. It is too expensive. You are correct. That's why you're building it later. It's almost like a luxury item, but it becomes a must build item because you're going to fucking die to everybody building pen. So you want to have an item like this for the late game to have a chance at living. I'm going to put it in A tier. I really like the item. Staff of Mirrodin, Slept On, Situational. Jungle Zeus goes crazy with this. It resets your ability, your next ability. So you use it twice. So it allows you to use your 3 twice. Situational Zeus, I would probably only build it on Zeus right now. When Scylla gets put in the game, they've already said she's coming. That's another god I'd probably want to build this on, assuming you're 2 slams. Stampede, must nerf, next to Gargoyle. In the next patch, I expect both of these items to get gutted. The land proved how OP both of them were. And ranked is proving it. You're seeing them in every single game on multiple characters. Absolutely have to get rid of these fucking items. Stone of Binding, I've been sleeping on this item. I thought it was bad. When you're max stacking pen to kill people with your team, it kind of goes fucking crazy. It makes it so these hybrid gods, these tanky solos that do a little bit of damage, these junglers going hybrid, it makes it so you pump. So we're putting it in A tier. Sunbeam Bow didn't get built at LAN once. It does well in ranked. I don't know if it's a ranked thing, competitive thing. I'm going to put it in B tier for now because it did get nerfed again. I think it's solid. Don't think you're trolling, but I think there's better items. Sunder, good item, but it's hard to fit into builds. Situational. I'd build it on maybe Thor Jungle, and then the right supports might build it to go for invades, like Umoja, maybe Sobek. Very situational. Sundering Axe, A tier. I drop it in A tier. You're building it on Zeus ADC. You're building it on a couple. I don't even know. I might put a B tier. What solo laners build Warriors Axe? Because Raw goes Bluestone. Yeah, 0, right? Okay, I need to change that. Situational. You're building it on Zeus ADC, and that's it. Purification Beads, Beast. Beast mode support item. Beast mode solo lane item. Keeps your teammates alive. Your shitty teammates that don't know how to beads, guess what? You can do it for them. Great fucking item with insanely good stats. Takokage. S tier. However, they made it so you have to use mana to get the proc. So Thanatos can't build this. Umoja can't build this. They need to change that back. I don't know what they need to do to word it differently or whatever. Be like, except for Thana or some shit. This item should work on Thanatos. It doesn't make any sense to work on every single god but Thanatos. Movement speed is very, very valuable in the game. Cosmic Horror. I believe they took some of the int off this item. I think they should put some more back onto it. It's a 20% or 20 cooldown rating once you have enough stats. So you build it like 4th, 5th, 6th. It has 90 imp. I think it needs more int. I don't think it's bad. I'd put a B tier, but it needs more int to move up to A. Crusher, very, very good jungle item. Pretty much built every game. Executioner, OP as fuck. Must build as ADCs. You literally have to fucking build it. Reaper. I like the idea of Reaper. You saw it built at land once. You didn't get any stacks. You have to get kills to get the stacks on this item. That needs to be changed to assists. If they change it to assists, I think the item's good. Until then, I think it's kind of a weaker item. World Stone, kind of a bait item. Most gods don't need to spam their ults only. They need their whole kit. So I'm putting in D tier. Like, Neith could build it, but in reality, by the time you build it, which is usually later after your pen, you're not spam ulting. So the 10 seconds you're getting don't make a difference at all. Titan's Bane, top tier item. Have to build. Totem of Death, top tier item. Pretty much have to build as ADCs. Transcendence. I'd only build this on Ul, I think, right now. I don't like it on junglers, but it is good for Ul. So I'm going to put it in C tier. Conch, insanely consistent hybrid item. Build it on fucking Mordred all day. Typhon's Fang, ass. Lifesteal is ass. This item has no passive. That I can't get over. If you guys are here from the beginning, they announced this item and they were so hyped about it, and it had 0 int on it and 40% lifesteal. They put it in the game, and it was the most turd shit item I've ever seen in my life. You don't build on Anubis. You don't build this on anybody. You do not touch this fucking item. Lifesteal in this game is not worth stacking. The only time lifesteal becomes good is if your passive gives you lifesteal as well. So like Pele with a lifesteal item goes fucking hard. This item has no passive. It has low int. The lifesteal is not worth it. Oh yeah, I did have an Anubis just build this and get cooked. What was he 3 and fucking 11 or some shit? It is a horrible fucking item. There is no world you build it right now. Void Shield I've been sleeping on. I think is a very good item. I'm starting to build it a lot more now. Why can't I move this down? Do I have to put it over here? There you go. Void Stone. I mean, you'd think Void Shield is good, but I don't think there's a lot of gods that get value out of Void Stone right now. I also feel like the stats are pretty mediocre. I'm gonna put this in C tier and say situational to like the right Guardian solo playing the game, like maybe a Sobek. War Flag, very, very situational starter. You're gonna see this when you start seeing like Cupid support and shit. Outside of that, you're really not building it. Is that everything? Wish Granting Pearl. This item is 3,550 gold, 120 int, 500 health. I think this is a fun item more than anything because of how expensive it is. And there's nobody right now that's stacking health in their builds. Yogis, I also think is a good item, but it's situational where you're going to be like, I need sustain to play in my lane. I want the health. The health is valuable. Gonna be very rare where you need it. And then that's all of them. Geb and Kabrakan aren't even building that Void Shield right now. The Void Stone right now. There's just other items that become way more relevant to you than that. Because most of the Guardians are playing around their base numbers. They don't even fucking care about Pen. Pendulum would replace Jotuns if it was a cheaper first item. It's a great stated item, but you don't get it online as early, so and you want to build it first. You don't really build it late. So yeah. That's the other thing he mentioned. Ripster just said Voidstone has no value right now with Gargoyle. Gargoyle is your int defense item, and then if you need another one, you go fucking beads because purification beads have it 20 cooldown. So what we should know from Smite builds, most first builds first items are cooldown items that have some cool passive or something extra as a passive, right? Your second item usually fills that same role or becomes anti-heal. The rest of your build becomes fucking pen. The other 4 items right now are pen every single fucking game. So you could go a pen magic defense cooldown item, or you could go void stone. You just end up not doing it. Wish granting pearl and conch and these int health items, I guarantee you fit some god that's coming eventually. Some god is gonna be like, I need all the health. Health turns, it's passive to be like health turns into defense or something, and these motherfuckers are gonna run around with like 8,000 HP building these items. I guarantee it. Also, talking about percent pen, flat pen is really, really valuable. So if you already have your magic defense, you end up going like a stone of binding for flat pen over it. Hey, I'm just making up numbers. I'm assuming we're going to get a health god because we haven't had one really yet. Or they're going to port Surtur over and he's going to be more of a health god than he ever was. Where is Terra? True. I forgot about her. She's a fun god. Totem of death on hunters? No. Why would you do that? It's an int item. If you auto attack, if your main goal is to auto attack in Smite 2, you build strength. You do not want int. So here is my item tier list. I'm sure some people would do it differently or argue different things. But yeah, here we are. And you can go check this on the website if you want to.